Well, hi everyone, I'm Don Smith, Sony Artisan of Imagery, and today we are at the beautiful Big Sur coastline. I've also been named recently, and it's been quite an honor, to be part of the ambassador program for a company I've been involved with my whole professional life, and that's Singh-Ray filters. And today I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to take you along here at Big Sur and show you my favorite filters that I use in landscape photography. So if you're ready, let's get started. So let's talk about the three different types of filters that I use on a regular basis when I'm out shooting my landscape photos. And the number one filter that is on every lens that I own is a polarizing filter. Now this happens to be a neutral polarizing filter, and what that simply means, it's going to polarize the light without imparting any warmth to the scene or messing with the colors other than what I want to do. And I'm just a big fan of keeping things basic, and that's why I tend to go with a polarizer that's just neutral. Now, really, polarizers are misunderstood filters, I think. I see this a lot in my workshops. You have to understand that polarizers do more than just take a pretty blue sky and darken it down and make the clouds pop. That seems to be the general knowledge that's out there. But professionals, we really see it differently. Polarizers are taking the scattered light and polarizing it out. So in essence, we are taking the shine off of anything in nature, and there's shine everywhere. Out here on this water behind me, there's a shine. If I was shooting fall color, all elements out in nature, be it leaves, shrubs, whatever, basically any foliage has a waxy substance to it. And the more you turn the polarizer, sometimes you can really saturate that down and bring your colors out. It's a what you see, what you get filter. So the worst thing you want to do, especially if you're shooting digital, is just to stand behind your camera and try to look at the back of the LCD. You really need to shut down your non-shooting eye, get your shooting eye up to the electronic viewfinder, or if you're with a digital SLR, up to your viewfinder, and turn and see the effect of the filter. Again, it's a what you see, what you get. There is no one right or wrong correction. Sometimes you're going to see a major change, sometimes you're not. The more major of the changes will usually come the more off angle of 90 degrees you are to the sun. So the more I start swinging around towards the sun, the less effect this polarizer is going to have. And if I'm 90 degrees off angle, it's going to have the most effect. So that's one thing right there. People ask me, do I ever take polarizers off my camera? My answer is yes. There's two times that I will take a polarizer off my lens, not my camera, but my lens. Number one, if I'm shooting right back at the sun, then this just becomes another layer of glass that's bending light, and it's not doing what it's designed to do. So I'll simply take it off. If I want to get a starburst effect, for example, if I'm shooting at a setting sun. The other time I will take this filter off is when I'm doing night photography. And I don't want a polarizer filter on because it's costing me about a stop or so of light. And so I just simply take it off. But those are the only two times I will take it off. People will see me a half hour before sunrise or a half hour after sunset, and they'll ask me, you still have your polarizer on? Yes, I do. Yes, I do, because it may be very minor. It may not be doing much at all, but I want any effect that this polarizer can bring me. And that's why I just leave it on my lens in that situation. So the second type of filter that I use on a regular basis and I carry is what we call a neutral density filter. And you can see, I'm just going to kind of hold this up, that it's really kind of a dark filter. And the purpose of a neutral density filter is to cut the amount of light that's reaching the sensor. This particular neutral density happens to be at 5 stops. So what that would mean, what does that mean? Well, if I'm at 1,000ths of a second, let's work the shutter speeds backwards. If I cut 5 stops, we're going to go to 500 is 1 stop, 250 is 2, 125 is 3, 160 is 4, 130 is 5. Why would I want to get down to 130? Well, maybe I don't want to be freezing this water behind me. I'd rather give it a more misty looking effect. And by the way, these Singh-Ray neutral density filters, they come in a bunch of different ways you can purchase it. This happens to be a 5 stop. Singh-Ray makes a 10 stop. They make a 15 stop. They make a 20 stop. They make what they call a variable ND. And what that means is I can dial in anywhere from 2 to 8 stops of ND, all in one filter. And I can even have a polarizer on that filter with their polarizing variable ND. So there's a lot of ways you can go. We're about an hour out from sunset here, and it's a clear day. And if I wanted to get this water looking misty, I may have to go out 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. And we're going to try some shots, and I'm going to show you some of my results using the different NDs that I brought along today. But that is the purpose of a neutral density filter, to cut the light, getting to the sensor. I usually think about it in situations around water, rivers, creeks. If there's cloud movement in the sky, I can accentuate the cloud movement using a neutral density filter. If you really want to get crazy with it, say we were out in a public setting on a pier. We're close to the Monterey Pier here, and there would be people out there. I could throw on a 20-stop neutral density, probably do a 32 to 45-minute exposure, and with the movement of the people, they would just blur themselves right out of the frame. So a lot of creative ways that you can use NDs. All right, let's go on and talk about the third type of filter that I carry on a regular basis with me, and that is called a graduated neutral density filter. And I happen to be holding up a Singh-Ray 4-stop graduated neutral density filter. Now, what would be the purpose of using a graduated neutral density filter? Well, a lot of times you may be in a situation where you're in shade and your foreground is in shade, but your background is in bright sunshine. So what this is designed to do is to cut the amount of light reaching that bright background and match it more evenly with your foreground, so the picture does not get out of range when we're showing it as far as the tonalities of the picture. You got to remember, our visual system is so unique that we have the ability to see into shadows, into bright light, but the camera doesn't usually see that way. It sees a little more harsh than that. So the brights are going to go bright, the shadows are going to go a little darker. If you want to expose for the shadows, guess what? You've washed out your highlights. Conversely, if you're exposing for the highlights and you don't expose for those shadows and you're trying to do it in all one frame, then your shadows are going to be really blocky and blocked up, and when you try to open them up, a lot of noise. So this is the type of filter I would use. Now, Singh-Ray makes these in a range of 1, 2, 3, 4 stops. I believe I'm hitting them all. And you can see there is a transition in the middle of that filter that we call a hard edge. And if I'm in a situation where I can blend my transition seamlessly and my viewer can't see it, then I would go with a hard edge grad. Conversely, if I'm in a situation where I need a little more blend, then this is the Singh-Ray 4-stop soft edge grad. And you can hopefully see there that the transition is a lot more gradual than the harsh hard edge. So those are the two types of filters. 2-stop, 3-stop, 4-stop, hard and soft. I keep those in my bag at all times. I like to do it all in one shot and compose it in camera and get it right. Yeah, I can bracket shots. That's done a lot in the digital age these days. But if I can do the picture all in one frame, that makes it a lot easier for me when it comes to processing. Now, the last type of grad that I want to show you is what we call a 3-stop reverse grad. And out here on the coast tonight, this may work really nice if we keep a clear sky as the sun is setting. And what you can see is on the top of the filter is actually less than right on the horizon. So the full 3 stops of the grad are down here on the horizon, and then it transitions off to less. So where would I be using this filter? Well, if I had a sun setting right on the horizon, a bright light, I would want to cut the amount of light coming back from that, but not get my entire sky too dark. That's when I would go to the 3-stop reverse. Okay, so what I've just done now is I've taken an exposure up the north end of the coast with the waves frozen at 1,000th of a second. Now I've come back and I put a 20-stop neutral density filter on. I'm cutting 20 stops of light, and I have an app called Long Exposure. There's a lot of different apps that'll help you out when you're making the conversions with the neutral density filters, unless you're good at doing the math in your head, which I used to be. I'm pretty good out to 10, maybe even 15 stops, but 20 is really getting out there. And I'm on, I actually lowered my ISO down, so that cut my entire time down by 1 full stop, and it was still about a 9-minute exposure. So I'm hoping to show you what this scene looked like captured frozen, and then what this scene looks like captured at 9 minutes. So let's see if it worked out. When I put a 20-stop ND on there, how much light does that cut, and how do I figure out my shutter speed, my new shutter speed?
And you can do that in your head?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
Counting on fingers, the old-fashioned way. Let me put my phone down. I'm actually timing it on the phone, but so I started at 1,000th of a second. I remember when I was in high school and just learning photography, I forced myself to memorize whole shutter speeds all the way down. Same with apertures. And I think people don't do that anymore. It's all in the camera. So let's see if I can come up with it. I started at 1,000, and I got to go 20 stops more open. I'm adding 20 stops of light here. So what's my new exposure? So 1,000, let's cut it in half. We're just going to start cutting this in half. 500, 250, 125, 160, 130, 115, 1/8, 1/4, 1/2, 1 full second, 2, now we're going to work up, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, we'll just call it a minute, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 16 minutes, pretty much right on what the app told me. So do I need an app? Yeah, you know, I guess if I come out here and have a brain cramp, I would need to, but really I can just do this stuff in my head. Well, we've had a great couple hours out here shooting today. I want to thank my son Aaron, just graduated from Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff. We're really proud of him. We just moved him home this weekend, and I've already put him to work out here shooting. I hope you get a sense of what filters can do for your landscape photography and how we use them, and now we're getting just drenched out here. That's how it happens around the ocean. But we're going to wrap it up. We've gotten a lot of good shots. Hopefully we've gotten enough footage where I showed you guys what we're doing and get a sense for the grad filters, the polarizers, the reverse grads, and just the straight on neutral density filters. So until next time, this is Don Smith from beautiful Big Sur coastline in California. And if you're interested, we'd love to have you take one of our workshops. I actually run 2 workshops here per year. My next one's going to be coming up in March. You can go to my website. It's on the screen right here, www.donsmithphotography. Click the workshop links and you'll see what we have to offer. We're going all over the world doing these things now. We're having a great time. And also, if you like this content, I'll keep producing it for you guys, but please hit the subscribe button down below, and that'll tell me that I'm getting enough interest. We'll just kind of keep plugging along with these and get you a bunch of different topics, a bunch of different guests, and we're just having fun out here. So until next time, from Big Sur, California, we'll see you later.